This is Storytimes with Stephanie, right? Um, the first thing I want to talk about is when I was younger. Not even when I was younger, probably when I was in therapy in Florida during the time we were homeless. Um, I remember my therapist was specifically supposed to be helping me to deal with my dissociation, right? And she was supposed to be, well, she asked me what name I wanted to use. And at that time, I had a really hard time with people saying my birth name, which is Stephanie, because I would get triggered every time I would hear my own name. And she said my name, and I remember I growled at her. My personality growled when she used my birth name. And I can never not remember that, because I remember she said my name, and then she's like, "It's saying Stephanie, okay?" And then I growl, and then she was like, and on reflex at that time, when something volatile would happen with my personalities, there would be like one that would kind of rebuff that one and would be kind or nice or giggly. And when I growled, I like giggled after, and I was like, apparently not that name. So we had like a neutral name that my therapist would call me at that time. And to me, now, that seems demonic, because if you guys, I don't know if that's dry, a lot of demons actually growl, but to me that seems demonic. I don't know why I growled. I do think that there was like a very deep attack through my parents for me to not accept or know my identity. So I think that they really did try to like cause me to not know my identity, and then not go into stuff that I do now. Like, I was watching Priscilla Shire and the Perrys. So Jackie Hill Perry, and I think her husband's name is Preston. She's talking about how when she was younger, she used to get in trouble a lot for talking, which is funny because so did I. I got in trouble for talking, which is also kind of ridiculous, because at first I got in trouble for not talking, and then I would get in trouble for talking, and I got in trouble for not socializing as a child, because I personally didn't latch on to people until after I had seen them for a while. So I would watch people, and then I would see who I wanted to be my friends, probably after 3rd grade, the first time, because I repeated 3rd grade. But after I repeated, I started to be more, I guess, observant about who I wanted to be my friends or not. So yeah, I wouldn't talk to people for like the first 2 weeks of school, basically. And I don't know what it was about the thousands where teachers were like, if you're not socializing, there's something wrong with you. So they always used to get in my face and be like, do you understand? Are you okay? And I disliked that a lot. But then when I got to the point where I actually did socialize, then they wanted me to be quiet. So that didn't make sense to me. But we're gonna doodle while I tell you guys a story. Yay! Where's my tape? I lost my tape. Oh, I did. I found it. I found my tape. Anyway, so yeah, now that I have dealt with having DID and I like my name actually now. Somebody told me that I have a classic name, and I was like, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Because I've never heard my name called a classic name. Because of course, I grew up around the age of Full House, so Stephanie was a popular name on TV at that time. And then people also considered my name a white name at that time. I don't know why. I don't particularly find it to be a white name, but I do think it is a name that is prevalent in multiple cultures, which is pretty cool. So like, if you see somebody that's from a European country, or you see somebody from like a Spanish speaking country, they name my name. So that's pretty cool. And they all pronounce it differently. But I thought that was cool, at least. Because I thought it was also annoying because my family, my siblings have, I feel like, more unique names than me. So I felt like they gave me a basic name. That's how I felt about my name at that time. But now I like it, and I like when people say my name. I actually get a little surprised when people do, because I don't normally tell people my name that often. That's also probably because I don't really socialize like that. But that's okay. God is gonna give me friends when He wants me to have some. But yeah, that's my part about names. I also think it's important for us as Christians, or in general, to just be able to talk and to listen to people that you may not even particularly agree with. This will probably surprise people, but there was a point in my life that I was pro-choice, and this was also before I realized that I had a kid. That also sounds weird. I had a kid and I'm the girl. But no, like, this is before I realized I had a miscarriage due to the sexual abuse I went through. But yeah, I used to get a whole bunch of pro-life versus pro-choice like those advertisements. If you guys ever seen the lady Christine, where she would, like, people would literally be yelling at her, and she would be making points, and they would literally be yelling at her, and she would be making points, and they would just be like, I hate you, you're fat. They were just mean. They were really mean. And I started watching her channel. Dang, I just messed up my nail that I just painted. Anyway, I started watching her channel because at that time I disagreed, right? But once I actually heard the argument and actually ended up getting an understanding of what abortions were and how they worked, because I was ill-informed, as well as I had no idea, because it's not like my parents were like, hey, this is how health works. No, they literally did nothing. So I didn't know, which is also why I was pro-choice at that point, because I was like everybody else, screaming, it's my body and all that other stuff, right? Because again, I also didn't know that my body wasn't even mine, it's Jesus Christ's. So my point is, it's good to, also I'm pro-life now, but that's also because I actually ended up giving their videos a chance and learned and got educated. So my point is, if you are always around the same people, you're only hearing the same things, you're never gonna grow, and you're never gonna have the opportunity to hear truth or anything that will help you to grow. Like for example, I see a lot of people that have friends, or you know what's a good example? Just look at any of the friend groups on Love Is Blind. There's rarely ever a person on that show that has friend groups that don't look identical to them. When your friend group looks exactly like you, that means you all have the same ideology and you're all not growing usually, because you're all just sitting there spinning in the same ideology, the same physical appearances, and honestly, it's kind of terrifying. Or like when you see couples that look identical, that's because they're just in each other. They don't have nothing outside of each other. They don't think about ideologies outside of themselves. They just them. That's bad. Then like look at the disciples. All of them were different. Like they had differences, is my point. And then look at the Bible. They had different people writing the Bible, but they all have one book. So we need to open ourselves to different ideologies within reason, to explore truth and explore opinions outside of ourselves, as well as, you know, sometimes if I'm open to reading or hearing people's opinions that I don't necessarily agree with, it may help me to empathize with them, to then also help them to know why Christ is Christ. Like, I can talk to you better if I know what you deal with and why you deal like that and why you think that way, rather than just being like, you're stupid, it's dumb, you're wrong. So yeah, just try to be open to other people and don't just write them off because you disagree. My intention was to talk during this whole thing while I paint, but we might have to just paint and then I'll show you later, because I don't have that much to say. I know it seems like I probably talk a lot because of the fact that I'm on a channel, but I really don't talk that much. Sometimes I literally don't talk so much that I forget how to communicate with other people because I'm not talking that much. And sometimes I practice like daily conversations because I don't be saying anything. Excuse me. So yeah, let's see you in like 5 minutes. Also, I do have like a lot of stories like about what my job, like past jobs, and I don't even think like past relationships are even necessary to talk about because I don't really care, to be honest with you. But half the time I don't even remember them, honestly. I feel like I have to pray to even remember sometimes, or sometimes God brings it to my mind. But we'll see. I do have some other things planned. Oh, you know what? I do think it's interesting. When I was a kid, I really loved reading, but my family, especially when I was in like 2nd grade. Oh, well, the thing is also that I don't have, like, because I didn't have a family foundation that was healthy, a lot of my stories are not happy stories. I don't have that many happy memories of being a kid, and I don't want to make a video that is depressing for other people. For them to be like, dang, that's sad. Because it's not really why I do this. Which is also why I didn't write music for a long time. Because a lot of my music was very angry and very depressing. And I knew it was. That's why I was like, God, I want to make music, but this is sad. Who wants to listen to sad music? I mean, people do, but that ain't what I want to make. So, but I cut my own self off, and I already forgot what I was talking about. That happens a lot too.